Hello everyone, hello my queens, hello gentlemen, welcome back to the ConneXion podcast. Today's episode is going to focus on a topic called attitude is everything. So when we talk about attitude, we mean how you perceive and respond to situations and how you behave in your regular interactions with others. So attitude is one of the biggest catalyzers of success. Last week we were talking about success, but we also have to look at our characters and how we show up in spaces and in offices, in conversations, in interactions, and what we bring is really our attitude. So it's really how we behave. I'm gonna talk a little bit much more on how we behave when we are interacting with other people, but also how we respond to situations. So one of the key learnings for my life has been, being aware of components that trigger us. There are so many components. The reason why I've been talking about, emotional cleansing and taking care of healing your emotional wounds is because when they sit down there and they're not addressed, you really end up showing in the world in a way that does not provide positive vibes and positive interactions and engagement with other people, and you encounter situations that end up triggering you to sometimes rush out to people, to sometimes respond in a way that is not necessarily maturely nurtured, to act sometimes in a way that is not responsible. And today's episode we are going to be exploring that and how it does have implication on your life outcomes and achievements. So one of the key components of attitude is language. Which type of language are we using when you're communicating with other people? Are we polite? Are we considerate? Are we taking into consideration where other people are coming from? Are we making sure that we are not, saying rude words or words that are hurting other people? Are we sure that we have all the right information to be able to respond in the right consideration where other people are coming from? Are we making sure that we are not, saying rude words or words that are hurting other people? To really, ensure that, the way we are communicating our responses, our thoughts, has positive implication on the audience. It can be our sibling, can be our parents, can be our co-workers, it can be anyone we are really talking to. So we have to make sure that, we learn how to communicate much more intentionally, much more impactful. And sometimes there's this tendency where people feel like they have achieved a certain level of success, that they can, talk to other people the way they want to, especially the people they feel like they are superior to. That is really not a good sign of nobility, of being cultured and educated. And sometimes people feel like, because I have attained this, because I embody this role, because I'm a CEO, because I'm a manager, I should talk down to other people. That is really bad attitude. So for me, I feel like, good attitude is to communicate intentionally well with other people, even if the message that we have is a bit challenging. It can be an invitation to a hard conversation. It can be a feedback. It can be a criticism. But the way it's packaged, shows the way you've been raised, the way you've matured your character. As I'm a manager, I should talk down to other people. That is really bad attitude. So for me, I feel like good attitude is to how someone's character has been developed, and we always have to look for opportunities to strengthen and improve our characters, because our characters show us in very funny ways. Another component of attitude is, beyond being triggered, there's that emotional trigger that sometimes allows you or drives you to behave and communicate a bit irrationally. And there's also that attitude of feeling like you are superior to other people. I don't think it's a noble way to behave. And another component is acting entitled. There's so many people who walk around as if, especially with this new generation where, success can be acquired a little bit much quicker than in the past. And people walk around feel like they're entitled to respect, to favors, to have doors being open for them. Really, when you encounter someone who behaves entitled, sometimes there are people who feel like they should be given all the advantages and the favors in life, even if they do not deserve them. Because when we have seen actually truly successful people, They do not act entitled. They do not act as if they are superior to other people. They manage their triggers, but also they are very much intentional about how they include other people into the conversation, how they make other people feel like they belong, rather than like pushing them away and excluding them because maybe they don't have the same title. So that component of acting entitled is really also like a sign of bad attitude. And for me, the invitation to say, you know, how do I show up in a way that takes into consideration the place where the other person comes from? Am I respectful? Am I engaging in a way that honors their humanity and who they are? Another question sometimes people should be asking themselves is, how do other people experience me? Some people say, you know, I woke up a bit, you know, angry, upset, so people should just like, bear with me. Yes, they should. You do deserve that as well. But also make sure that, you know, the way the overall population is experiencing you is not negative. Make sure that, you know, you also not behave in a way that inspires hatred, that inspires disdain and lack of respect. Sometimes people intimidate other people, but say, instead of like intimidating people to get things my way, how do I act in the right way so I can inspire people to experience me in much more positive way? But also make sure that, you know, the way the overall population is experiencing you is not negative. Make sure that, you know, you also not behave in a way that inspires hatred, that inspires disdain and lack of respect. Sometimes people intimidate other people, but say, instead of like intimidating people to get things my way, how do I act in the right way so I can inspire people to experience me in much more positive way? Some of like the invitation now, when we really like want to nurture good attitude overall, is to look back at like those values that our parents have started teaching us when we were small children. Say, how do I behave in society? How do I behave in a community? How do I behave in a circle, in a family? And how do other people experience me? What are some of like the good values I can implement? And start shifting your mindset towards much more positivity. You know, when you are positive yourself, it's much easier to like, you know, excel positivity to other people. It's much more easier for other people to experience you in much more positive way. And you leave a very good imprint. And I think it's Maya Angelou who said, it's not what you said, it's not what you did, it's how you made other people feel. Really, I'm not saying, you know, sacrifice your authenticity, but make sure that, you know, other people are experiencing you in a very positive way. So it's like you leave a very healthy imprint in whichever interaction you have. Is it a coffee shop, an office, at home? Make sure that you are really like, you know, intentionally creating that positive environment around you. And whenever you encounter challenges, this is something that I really like, you know, struggled a lot when I was, you know, at the beginning of my career. I would feel like a situation was unfair. I would just like, I feel emotional about it. Then I would just like, you know, bring it up in a way maybe that was not necessarily the most mature way. But now what I know is that, you know, whenever challenges happen, there are challenges that happen in work environment that will never go away. So now the strategy is to say, you know, do I want to continue to contribute to this place? Do I want to stay here and, you know, continue experiencing these negative emotions over and over? Or do I look at these particular challenges as an opportunity for team growth, for my personal growth, and then to which extent do I extend grace and patience for the situation? But even when you are engaging in those conversations where you are trying to inspire change, make sure again that, like, you know, your colleagues are experiencing you in a way that brings so much value, and that reduces as much as possible tensions. Because then when attitude, you know, comes up and takes over, then it leads to much more tension and people are not able to communicate that effectively. So the invitation here becomes to embrace challenges as opportunities and try to say, if we are facing this challenge, these are the opportunities that we can create out of it, especially when you have colleagues who are eager and willing to collaborate with you. And another way of really nurturing a positive attitude is to surround yourself with positivity. So sometimes we realize that in our inner circle, we have people who have such a nasty attitude over and over, and we sit and tolerate them, especially when like there are people we can't easily get rid of. It can be our family members, it can be our siblings, it can be our parents. So when we really want to create a much more noble character, or really strengthen our attitude, you cannot sit down with people who have negativity all over. because it's going to affect you whether you want it or not. We are the sum total of the people who surround us. When we are surrounded with people who are very pessimistic, who don't see the sky and smile, and who don't see good components, then it becomes really very hard for you to also be embodied in that element of positivity. And the invitation here is to also when your attitude is showing up in a way that is not supporting who you think you are becoming, just take responsibility for it. Apologize or withdraw yourself from a situation where you feel like you're going to be triggered. Or if you feel like you've acted a bit entitled, go back and say, I feel like I haven't treated you well. I wanted to say sorry, and I hope that I can make it better next time. So the invitation is for you to really say, how do I continue to create inner resilience that allows me to focus on the solution, not on the problem, to ensure that the world around me is experiencing me in a way that is supportive, caring, understanding, and where I'm really being an inspiration to the people that I'm encountering in that day. So there are so many books and resources around attitude. I wanted to invite you to continue to explore them, because when you are elevating your life, when you're enhancing your life, when you want to step into the highest definition of who you want to be, your attitude is going to be the material that introduces you. Make sure that your self-introduction is supporting what you want to achieve, to acquire. Is it the network you wanted to engage in? Is it the partners you want to bring on board? Is the collaborators? Whatever it is, make sure that your attitude is introducing you in a fashion that is supporting the life and the career and the relationship that you really are building for yourself. So that was the invitation from me, and let me know what you think, and thank you so much. And let's continue engaging and share tips and resources, and take care, and until next time, I can't wait to hear more from you. Bye bye.